Pranav to J-Rods. It was my extreme pleasure to introduce Mr. Lucius Jackson, all-time NBA champion, who also represented us in the Olympics. He played for the Philadelphia 76ers from 1964 to 1972. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, for coming and spending time with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, what is your full name?
My full name is Lucius B. Jackson, Jr.
Why did your parents select this name for you?
I have no idea. I really don't know. Well, I do know. My dad's name was Lucius, so I have his name.
So they just like named you
With
after
a
him.
junior. Yeah, I'm a junior.
Did you have a nickname?
Yes, and when I was a kid growing up, my siblings called me Junior. When I started playing ball, my name was Lucius, but they started to call me Luke.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
When and where were you born?
I was born in San Marcos, Texas, October 31st, 1941.
How did your family come to live here?
To live here in Beaumont? Well, I met my wife in college at Texas Southern University. I fell in love with her while I was in college. And then when I started to play pro ball, we decided we would get married. So in 1965, on May the 15th, I married my wife, Marla. And that's how we wound up in Beaumont. She's from Beaumont, so she took me from Philadelphia kicking and screaming, but here I am.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Yeah, my earliest childhood memories growing up, trying to play this game, basketball. Went to a small school in San Marcos, Texas. Of course, back then, during the times, there was not a whole lot of basketball being played in my area. But by the time I was ready to play, which was my 7th or 8th grade year, the school shut down. The schools were segregated and then they integrated. So that forced me not to have the opportunity to play at my school. So what I did, I started to play on the playgrounds like you're doing, shooting baskets on your hoop. I started doing that. Wasn't very good, but I played every day. I would get my ball taken from me like every other kid. The old kids would take my ball, wouldn't let me play. But I continued to practice and continued to go to the court. Finally one day I was as big as them and they couldn't take my ball. So therefore they had to let me play if they wanted to use my ball.
What kind of like board games did you play back then?
Board games, I played Chinese checkers and checkers, those kinds of games.
Who were your childhood heroes?
My childhood heroes, you know, growing up, I really didn't have any. Not per se. I don't think I really had any heroes. I admired a lot of people. I admired my coach that was there at the school where I was from. I admired the coach that I played for, finally had an opportunity to play for. I admired him and his family. I admired my mother and my dad, of course. But heroes, I don't have particularly anyone.
Were you ever, like, how old were you when you were first mentioned in the newspaper?
When I was first mentioned in the newspaper I was probably a junior in high school. I was probably 16 years of age. And the reason I was mentioned in the paper then was because I said earlier that the schools were integrated and they wouldn't allow blacks to participate in athletics at the school, at Rattler High School in San Marcos, Texas. So it would always come back to me as, you know, the board voted against it, you won't be able to play, and you know, I didn't do those things. But anyway, that was my first mention of being in the newspaper.
How is the world today different from when it was when you were growing up?
Oh, the world is much faster now. It was slow, much slower than it is today. Today is a technology world. Everything is tech, everything is high paced.
Did they have computers when?
No.
Like, when did they start having computers?
Computers were probably in what, the 50s, 60s?
Okay. Who was the oldest relative you remember as a child?
My oldest relative would be my mother, my grandmother.
What accomplishments were you most proud of? Was it like the college, professional, or Olympics?
I was proud of all of them. I really was. I was proud that I was able to go to school, be able to play on sports teams, to be successful at playing on those sports teams. Of course, when I left school, I had no idea that I was going to go to college because my parents couldn't afford to send me to college. I received a scholarship to go to school. I went to Texas Southern University in Houston, where I met my wife, which was a blessing. I left there and went to Pan American, where I graduated from. I know you're probably wondering where Pan American is. Pan American is down in the Rio Grande Valley in Edinburgh, Texas. It is now called UT Pan Am.
What is the one thing you want most people to remember you about?
I just want them to say, when they have a remembrance about me, I would like for them to say that Luke Jackson was a good guy, and that he treated everybody fair, and he tried to be the best man that he possibly could be. That's what I would like for somebody to say. Of course, a lot of people would say, yeah, you played pro ball, yes, all of that's good. And I would like for them to say, the last thing I want them to say was that I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a man of God, and I want them to say that. Now, all the other accolades about winning championships in college and the Olympics and the professional ranks, all of that's good. But I'd rather just be kept simple and say, I remember Luke by the way he was. He was a good guy, a good man, and he loved the God he served.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jackson.
You're quite welcome.
That's very nice.
You got it all, Doc?
Yes,
All right.
let's run it and see